copied from AB5, or it would take the essence of AB5 as a litmus test for whether or not gig or contract workers or contractors, just contractors in general, should be reclassified as employees. Now, obviously, if you have not been under a rock, you know that the AB5 law was passed in California in, I think it was 2020. It was immediately challenged by a variety of companies, including a lot of trucking companies and trucking organizations in California, and the challenges went all the way to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court declined to issue a ruling on it, and the law was allowed to go into effect. Now, the fallout from that law, to my knowledge, because I have been under a rock recently, when it comes to trucking news, the fallout from that law has not yet been fully realized. That I know of, there have not been widespread shutdowns in the trucking industry among owner-operators in California. But again, I don't know. I've not been keeping up with the news because I've had my own fish to fry. So it's just not been in my wheelhouse to keep up with what's happening with the after effects of AB5 in California. But let's talk about the potential effect for this law, this rule, not law, rule from the DOL that could go into effect nationally next year if adopted. Obviously, there's a lot of companies that rely on contractors as either a crucial component of their business. For example, Lyft and Uber. Trucking companies, of course, rely upon owner-operators. And, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of small businesses rely on gig and contract workers for a wide variety of aspects of their business. But here are the two major points that I think will offset the major concerns about AB5 potentially crippling the owner-operator market in the United States. Number one, and this is in the article on Fox News, you can search it up. I think it was titled something like Biden proposes new rule about contract workers, or the title was The Gig is Up, that's what it was. That was the little title card on the news story. But anyway, the 2 points that I think are going to really alleviate concerns among owner-operators, number one, is the opportunity for profit and loss. So, as an owner-operator versus a company trucking employee, I have a greater opportunity for profit and a greater opportunity for loss. Because being a contractor who provides equipment to a company, my profit margin, in theory, should be greater because I'm not having to accept the company's pay rate. I am able to, because of being able to do my own dispatch, I'm able to negotiate my own shipping rate with the brokers and either accept what they're offering or negotiate for higher depending on the situation. I should always negotiate if you can, though. So my opportunity for profit is greater. Now, also, when it comes with providing the equipment, my expenses are greater, which means my opportunity for loss is greater because I have to pay for all of my fuel. Yeah, I'm using the company's fuel card, but that fuel cost comes out of my settlements. They're not paying my fuel cost for me. I have to pay that fuel cost. I have to pay my own insurance. I have full insurance on my tractor and trailer that I pay for directly through OOIDA, but I also have to pay cargo insurance to the carrier is providing me because you got to have cargo insurance, and it's just a separated cost out from every week. They also have a workman's comp policy out on me as well that I pay into. So those are the costs that they're compelling out of me. That I have to either provide my own insurance or purchase insurance through them, which is just intelligent. That I have to pay cargo insurance, which is down in the owner-operator method, whether it's for mega carriers or the smaller mom-and-pop shops. Well, I'll talk about that in the next point, which is the second most important point I wanted to touch on with this proposed rule from the DOL, I should say, is the degree of control that a company has over the contractor. Now, when it comes to Uber and Lyft and owner-operators, we all share one thing in common, and that is that we have the opportunity and the ability to work when we want to. We are not compelled to operate or meet minimum operating standards, at least as far as I'm aware. Now, there can be mega carriers that have certain operational requirements. I've never done Uber or Lyft. I have no idea what their operational requirements might be, but in a sense, as an owner-operator, I cannot be compelled every Monday to get on the road and go drive. I also cannot be prevented from going home when I want to. Now, when I used to drive for Werner, as an owner-operator, at that time, this is almost 2 years ago since I've been gone from Werner, at that time, the opportunity to just go home when I wanted to was not available. I had, with the account that I was on, I had to bank home time for every 7 days out. I think I got 1 day off. But I was usually out about 11 days. I'd do a 34-hour reset, then I'd get back on the road. So, or was it maybe 5 days? Maybe 5 days out, 1 day off, or 6 days out, 1 day off? I forget. I'm hoping that's changed since I've left Werner, because that was kind of a garbage way of doing business, but it is what it is. That's part of the reason I left it in the first place, is I wanted a little more control over when I had home time and how much and what I was doing. But anyway, the degree of control the company has over the driver. Again, I can't be compelled to go out and drive. I compel myself to go out and drive because this isn't going to pay for itself, and the company's not going to pay for it for me. They just let me drive it whenever I want to. So I gotta make the money that's going to pay for this equipment. The company cannot compel me to pick up or drop certain loads. They cannot compel me to operate in certain regions of the country. They cannot compel me to operate within certain hours. They have no ability to control when and how I operate. So that is one aspect of this degree of control the company has over the contractor, in that I'm a free agent to a point, and I think that point is large enough that most owner-operators who are leased on with a carrier should not be concerned. Because if you're an owner-operator that is doing your own dispatch and you're not leased on with a carrier where you signed a lease agreement to purchase a company's truck, like a lease purchase with a carrier situation, the company, if you've provided your truck to the company, you've brought your equipment to the dance, to the lease agreement, that company does not have the same level of control over you that a lease operator, a lease purchase operator might be under, because they have to meet certain minimums and certain other requirements and whatever else. And there may also be some strings attached where there's bankable home time rules and whatever else. But here's another factor that's going in my favor, is that since I purchased my trailer just a couple of months ago, the company that I'm leased on with right now, they cannot compel me to bring that trailer to their facility and drop it for someone else to use. Like, I cannot be required to bring my trailer to the company's terminal locations and drop my trailer into the empty trailer pool for the other company's driver, for the carrier's other drivers. I own the trailer. The trailer is mine. I can do with it as I please. The only requirement the company can place upon me when it comes to that trailer is that it has to be kept in operational condition in line with FMCSA and DOT regulations, which means it has to be serviceable, it has to be up to code, up to snuff, up to par, it has to have a current and valid DOT inspection, has to have a valid license plate, it has to have all these things that are very minor and very straightforward, that are easy to deal with, and not really much of a compulsion, but just these are requirements handed down from DOT and FMCSA, essentially, that it's not a degree the company has a controlling factor over me on. The plate on this trailer is my plate. The plate on my truck is my plate. So that is one more element of control that the company does not have over me, and that I am not using their registration in any capacity. Registration is mine. It is in my name, under my LLC, my DBA, my doing business as name, and it comes to me. The documentation for renewal comes to me, not the company. The payment for the plates comes from me to the regulatory body I have to pay the plate fees to, which in this case is the state of Illinois. So that is one other element of degree, one other aspect of control the company does not have over me, in that the means by which I am having cargo loaded onto my truck for transport, meaning my trailer, is under my control. The truck and the trailer, the entire 18-wheel big rig, is under my control. I own it, I pay for it, I operate it, and I operate it in accordance with FMCSA and DOT requirements, and therefore, because I'm under, in that respect, under the authority of DOT, by meeting annual inspection requirements and at least the bare minimum operational standards in terms of tire tread depth, tire inflation, light functionality, and all that stuff. The company has no control over me in that regard. Any rules that I'm operating under that any other truck for a company would operate under are being assigned to me, not by the carrier, but by the DOT. So that is the second reason, that's the second point of this that is going to, I think, assuming the language of this rule actually is as clear as I've made it in this video, there should be no owner-operator who should be concerned about this potential AB5 copycat going national, except if you are a lease purchase operator where the requirements upon you are so heavy and the burdens upon you are so intense that you essentially are a beholden employee, and if you cease driving for that carrier, you lose that truck. Yeah, if you're a lease purchase operator in that scenario, I could see that you should be concerned, because you could be reclassified as an employee, which means that all the money you put into trying to complete the lease and acquire that truck is for nothing, because that money just got zeroed out when you got reclassified as an employee, at least potentially. I don't know the ins and outs, but we'll see what actually happens with the actual language of the rule. Now, what about folks owner-operators who are dispatched and don't do their own dispatch? Now, as far as I'm aware, that's the vast majority of the industry. The vast majority of the industry, when it comes to owner-operators who are leasing on with another carrier, they are dispatched. They do not do their own dispatch. Now, I'm not sure how true that is, and now Landstar and maybe Schneider are their own animals, where, from what I understand, from what I know about Landstar is, Landstar has a load board. You go on that load board, you pick what you want, and you operate. Okay, so that will leave Landstar on this side. I've heard Schneider is very similar. Schneider has a load board. Schneider owner-operators can get on that load board, pick loads, and then go where they want to go, and then it's on from there. But when I was with Werner, now I was never an over-the-road owner-operator with Werner. I remained assigned to the 3M account. Now, so I essentially was under the aspect of forced dispatch, where the load was picked for me and it was assigned to me. I did hear that if you were an over-the-road owner-operator for Werner, serving all their customer base in a true OTR fashion, if when you started your week, you had, and let's say you started at the terminal in Omaha, you were at company headquarters in Omaha, Nebraska, you would be offered 3 loads, and you picked one of the loads you wanted, whether it was the mileage you wanted to run or it was the location you wanted to go to, picked that load, got the trailer, got the load, whatever, and then you were rolling. When you got to your destination and delivered your load, whether you dropped the trailer or did a live unload, you were then offered 3 more loads on the load board through your ELD system. And then you picked ECM interface for the ELD, and then the tablet that is used for my logs in general. That is company property. Those two things are company property. Beyond that, everything else on this truck is my property. So if tomorrow, after I deliver this load, if I decide to the company, look, thanks for everything, I'm out. Okay. Now it's time to get the equipment home and stop operating for them. But then all I did was turn their equipment in, their tablet and their interface in, and debadge the truck from take their name and number off. Truck and trailer are mine. Plate is still mine. Trailer's still mine. All that's still mine. So with those elements, the opportunity for profit and loss and the degree of control that a company has over a contractor, most owner-operators, in my judgment, we'll see what the actual rule says, should not be concerned about the possibility of Biden proposing AB5 on our national level and then actually getting it enacted. Now, there are a bunch of other industries and a bunch of other companies that should be rightly concerned. I believe lease purchase operators should be very concerned, but owner-operators who are providing the truck to a carrier and potentially providing the trailer as well should not, because even if you are renting a trailer from the carrier you're operating for, or trailers are provided to you, and it's just part of your 20% or whatever it is you're paying the carrier, that the carrier keeps from every load, that's trailer insurance and maintenance. Hopefully it's not separating costs, so that's expensive. If you're not paying trailer rental or trailer maintenance, but you are using a carrier's equipment and they're providing it to you when you're providing the truck that's going to move that trailer, I still think you're going to be fine. If this was to go into effect tomorrow, I believe that at least 75% of all owner-operators that are registered and operating in the United States will not have any problem continuing business as usual under this method. Now, in order to meet compliance, companies like Werner may have to then start populating a load board for their owner-operators to begin choosing from in a more free fashion, or providing owner-operators like access to the DAT board, for example, as just a part of their business operation, in order to avoid having to reclassify their hundreds or thousands of owner-operators as employees, and they have to now suddenly pay for a ton more trucks than they want to right now. Because that's the major advantage of the owner-operator business model, is that an owner-operator comes to a carrier, agrees to operate for that carrier on a for-hire basis under contract, and provides a tractor in that deal in order to move the freight, whether it's in the driver's trailer or the company's trailer, doesn't matter. Freight is getting moved by equipment that the company does not have to pay for, does not have to control, and beyond making sure that there's insurance and it's up to DOT spec and whatnot, does not have to assert any control over, because it's the driver's responsibility and it's the driver's expense to maintain that equipment and keep it in operational condition. All that company has to do is just make sure that that driver is at least working, or has a working operational agreement with that driver, wherein it is known to the company when that driver is or is not going to operate. So, if things come into action like that, like I just described, business is then significantly impacted. But as of now, based on article highlights, again, grain of salt there,